booktube. We're continuing with this weird, useless, completely redundant book tour that I'm doing of what used to be my library, but which is changing under my feet as we go along. And I've positioned the camera on the do-pod, because it's not a tripod anymore, because I snapped off one of the metal legs. And I haven't got around to getting a new one yet. So I have a do-pod, and it is working. It will work serviceably well for the time being. And we've got a top shelf here of a very tall bookcase, something that I very much wanted to be tall and skinny to fit in the corner of a room, to block the triangle corner of a room with the minimum amount of space wasted. But first, before we get to that top shelf, you didn't think you were done with the Legion of Superheroes, did you? Well, no. No. We have volume 1 of this enormous hardcover, The Silver Age of the Legion, volume 1. There are heroes in an ugly, originally commissioned cover, presumably by one of the editor's little kids. And there we have our 3 founding members, Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, and Saturn Girl. Here we have members of the Legion and also a commemorative statue of Superboy. Rather than a living person. That's volume 1. Oh my god. And then we have volume 2 of the Silver Age. Another original cover here. There is the Legion, this time Superboy very much in the flesh, as they fly off to face the Fatal Five. Including Validus, that enormous being there in the middle who commands the whole cover. And then, oh my god. Then we have volume 3, the Silver Age of the Legion. Here we have a scene from a cover of the time period with some members of the Legion being threatened by Mordru the Merciless, that is Mon-El. We've seen him before. There's Duo Damsel, only just one of her. That's actually Lana Lang, who is an honorary member of the Legion of Superheroes, even though she never goes to the 30th century, or very seldom does. And tied up tight there on the cover is Superboy himself. And, you know, the viewer of the cover of this issue a million years ago would look at these two and say, well, Superboy and Mon-El should be able to free themselves. But there's a whole story involved here. In fact, it's one of the best stories. The cover here is one of the best Legion stories. And I believe, I could be wrong about this, time periods and the designation thereof, always a weak spot of mine, but I believe that 3 volumes is all you get for the Silver Age of the Legion of Superheroes. The archive volumes that we saw a while ago go well beyond the Silver Age. I'm pretty sure that the next big fat hardcover volume that DC does, if they do one, they did 3 of these, very happy about that. I'm pretty sure that if they do another one, it will be volume 1 of the Bronze Age of the Legion of Superheroes. We shall see. I haven't seen even the slightest hint of that so far. Now we're going to reach up out of camera for the only crosswise book here. This is an anthology edited by Robert Finch, who we've seen before in this room. This is A Place Apart, a Cape Cod reader. Whole bunch of names here, familiar and not familiar, in an anthology going back centuries of people writing on and about Cape Cod. So that is the only crosswise book. Then we have Edwin Wayteal, which we've seen on this channel before. I'm a big fan of his. He was most famous for a quartet of books that were seasonal books, where he followed the 4 traditional seasons of the calendar across large stretches of the United States. So he did summer, and then winter, and then spring, and then fall. And those books are wonderful, and I am waiting. Sooner or later, I will find them all in hardcovers with dust jackets, with the old original black and white photos and everything. Probably at the Battle Bookshop. Sooner or later, that will happen, and I'll be grateful for it. All the more grateful because, of course, it's wistful now. Those 4 seasons don't exist in most parts of the country anymore. And when I was reading Edwin Wayteal back when those books were first coming out, I thought a lot of things might happen. I thought the ocean might be overfished. I thought conservation might have to kick into strong gear because some animals are teetering on the brink of being endangered. But it never actually occurred to me that the earth under my feet would change. It never actually occurred to me that the seasons would change. That was the stuff of science fiction. So I'm looking forward to finding those books. But in the meantime, I have this thing. This is The Lost Woods. just another book of his that is full of, there's some baby owls there, full of these great old black and white photos where he just walks through a patch of wilderness and describes it in great detail. I think that will fit back up there, yes. Okay, then we have, this is an anthology, yes. Yeah, this is an anthology, Alive in the Wild. Another old anthology that has lots and lots of original artwork. Original artwork is all throughout here. Just lovely stuff. Just lovely. With lots of articles, too. These are oversized hardcovers, I'm noticing. And we are building up to full-sized, art-sized books, which is what this thin bookcase is. It's thin, and all the shelves are very tall. It was meant to accommodate larger art books that I want in this room. This is slightly larger. This is Cosmos by Carl Sagan, the companion to his famous series. This is fully illustrated, tons and tons of astronomical photographs, but also tons and tons of artwork. Okay, then we have the Lyle Letters. Muriel St. Clair Byrne did, she went through the correspondence of Lord Lyle from Calais, a very prissy and henpecked member of Henry VIII's court, who had a very, very important job of running the garrison in the only English foothold on the continent. And the author distilled her archival work into this one volume that did well, believe it or not. The Lyle Letters did well. I think that surprised her as much as it did anybody else. Okay, then we have a larger book. This is A Natural History of Owls. Great big thing, really beautiful, full of color art, photos and whatnot. It's much bigger than Live in the Woods or Lost Woods or Cosmos. It really, I'm thinking now that maybe there's a little bit of unevenness here, but that's okay. We're not going to think about it. We're not going to think about it. We're just going to go through. Okay, this next one is a fairly recent acquisition. This is Should It Gurgle by Alan Dunn. This is a portfolio of New Yorker cartoons. I love New Yorker cartoons, and I love these kinds of anthologies of individual artists where you get, three or four cartoons on a page. What is this next one? Nice and bright. Oh, no wonder. No wonder. This is not at all a great theater catalog, but I'll take it. Definitely. It probably has as much detail as I would want. This is one of my favorite artists. Sir Lawrence Alma-Tadema, who there he is in his studio. I'm sure that he is despised now, but he once did very good historical paintings that are just wonderful. What I wouldn't give to have a nice big framed print of an Alma-Tadema, that would be wonderful. And this book gives you color plates of all of these, but it also gives you lots and lots of history, lots and lots of black and white photos. Don't think I've ever seen a bigger, more lavish Alma-Tadema book. Okay, then this next one, I think I got this in Vermont. This is The Best of Yankee Magazine, which still exists. I have at times made the mistake of subscribing to it. It really isn't what I want anymore. It's really more touristy type thing. But once upon a time, it held far more serious stuff. It was once upon a time a paying venue, so real writers would often go there with stories and profiles and whatnot. Okay, look at this. How lovely. Oh my. Okay. This is The World of Bats. An enormous thing here, which is a real coffee table thing full of photographs and diagrams of bats in great detail. Wonderful. And exactly the sort of thing that I wanted this bookcase for, although now I'm noticing that the really tall books like that are inconvenient to pull down off the shelf from such a height. Yeah, so this bookcase joins the list of all the other bookcases that need to be completely rearranged as soon as this weird exercise is done. And then we'll finish up with this. This is Audubon's Animals. This is the big volume that he did as a companion to his famous volume on birds. That is every bit as lovely, every bit as his animals are every bit as lively. I'm sacrificing color here in this volume for, I think, all of them. Yes, none of the plates here are in color, but The detail is wonderful, and there's lots and lots of history at the beginning. And there you go. Let's put you back up there. That is the first and least accessible shelf of this tall corner bookcase, which I put shims underneath it to make sure that it was level, because the floors in this old house are a little bit slopey. But I also intentionally arranged the bookshelves here so that this bookshelf is bracketed by the two on either side. It's behind them. So you couldn't pull this thing down if you wanted to. It would hit the other two bookcases first. It's bracketed by them. Which gives a great sense of security. It's true in the other corner as well. But anyway, that is it. That is it for this shelf. I'm going to rearrange the do pod and do the next one. I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.